Okay, now I'd like to turn the presentation over to Stuart Gray, who will be covering some of the AQS basics, beginning with how to gain access to AQS. So, Stuart,
all right.
go ahead and
Can you hear me okay?
Can hear
Michael?
We can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, first I want to just say that Chris, Michael Brooks and I, Chris Chapman, Mike Brooks and I, we really appreciate the opportunity to work with you on this and to be involved. We really appreciate that. So with that said, how do you gain access to AQS? Well, first you want to go to the AQS database website. So you want to go into your browser. Typically we're using Chrome, and we'll type in the HTTPS address you see on the screen. And once that comes up, you'll see this screen. This is the web page. And you want to look under AQS user support. And under user support, you're going to click on new user registration. And that new user registration, once you click on that, a page will come up where you'll have to click one more time to open up the user registration form. And I think that's on the next slide. Michael, can we move ahead to the next slide? There we go. Okay, so excuse me, I have a little frog in my throat today. So you'll want to fill out the new user registration, and this is very important when you're filling this out to ensure that you put in all the information, and you're going to, once you fill out the information for yourself, you're going to want to hand the user registration sheet, and you sign it and date it, I'm sorry, you're going to want to hand that registration sheet over to the AQS contact for your agency. And that person will designate what type of access or permissions you have in the AQS system, whether it'll be read-only or screening group access. And they both mean different things. If you're having any issues, you want to, if you're having any issues, you want to call that toll-free number that you see on there. That's the number to EISD, our Enterprise IT Service Desk. But you're going to want to sign and date these sheets and email both of them to the EISD@epa.gov. Once they receive it, they send it over to us, and we put the information into the Oracle database and create an account. And you're going to be, once that happens, you receive an email which will give you further instructions. Okay, can we go to the next slide? Okay, how to launch the AQS database. Let's see. So, better. Okay, to launch it, when the screen comes up on the right-hand side of the screen, you're going to see there are two links there. One is, it says Exchange, the other one is AQS. So you're going to want to click on the blue button, and that will open up the AQS database for you. The AQS database uses the Oracle database, so you're going to need to download a Java runtime app that will allow you to interact with the database itself. So once you click on the AQS Launch Web application, we want to go to the next screen. And what we've done is we've created some videos, very short, 1 to 2 minute videos. So if you have a specific question or you're just not remembering, gee, what was I supposed to do after this? You can go to where the videos are under training, and you find that on the main page under user support, and then just click on it. And I think they're going to run the video now.
To begin working in AQS, you'll need to launch the application. Open your internet browser and go to the AQS website. The AQS website is located at epa.gov/AQS. On the AQS website, click the AQS Launch Web Application button. Select Run from the Java pop-up to launch AQS. At this point, you'll enter your username. Next, enter your password. The AQS production database is pre-populated. There's no need to change the selection. Click the Connect button to log into the AQS application. After you successfully log in, you'll be taken to the session screen. Here you may continue as a read-only user or screening group access. The read-only user session allows access to all of the data in production status in the AQS database. It does not allow the user to view any data that is still being processed. The screening group access session allows users of that selected screening group to view both production and pre-production data. Only users with update authority may insert, update, or delete data for the screening group. For our demonstration, we will select Screening Group Access. Select the appropriate screening group for your session. Click the OK button to begin your session. You are now able to log into and begin working in AQS.
Okay, Stuart, that's the end of the video. I got you keyed up for the next slide.
Great. Thank you, Michael. Okay, so what we're going to do is just go very quickly through the steps that video takes you through. When you click on that blue AQS button, this AQS logon form, AQS is going to ask you to log in. So you put your user ID or your username and your password in, and the database, which is the third line down, will be pre-populated with AQS prod. That's the production server that you'll be accessing. And then you want to hit the connect button, and then there should be a pop-up screen depending on what access you want to go into AQS with. Are you a read-only access user, or are you a screening group user? So if you hit read-only, that should bring you to the final screen, which will bring you into AQS, and it'll bring you to forms and reports. But if you're a screening group access and you click on that, you'll get another pop-up, and it'll request which screening group you want to go in. You can belong to a number of different screening groups. So this should be populated with all the screening groups that you belong to. All right, next screen.
Hey, Stuart, I just wanted to add to, just make sure your screening group, which is basically your tribal name, is spelled correctly. I included this little screenshot, shout out to Ho Chi Minh Nation of Wisconsin, but they did misspell their tribal name. So I just wanted to make sure that tribes are aware of that as well. Okay, Steve, okay. Go ahead.
Very good. Next screen. Okay, so there is a difference between read-only and screening group access. They're both access. They both allow you to access the AQS database. Under read-only, you can go in and you can browse any data for any screening group that is available in AQS. The thing is, you can't make any changes to that data. So you are limited in this capacity, but you can pull up reports that are available in AQS. Most people who are, depending on what your task is or what work you're doing in AQS, that would determine what type of access you would have. If it's read-only, typically those are managers, or they're folks who are just looking for information on AQS or need to see if information has gotten into the database. They can do that as read-only. But under screening group, that gives you an additional level to where you can change the data, you can input data, and you can or update or delete data. So that's one of the security steps that we have in place to prevent people who just may want to view the data, but we don't want them necessarily deleting data by accident, let's say. Okay, next slide. Okay, screening groups. Screening groups are really part of the security process that AQS has in place. The monitors themselves are owned by a screening group, so that would be your tribe. So members of the screening group can do just about anything with the data in there. So if you're a member of a screening group and you have screening group access, you can go in and make changes to the data that's in there. Monitors can only belong to one screening group. So that's pretty important, and you'll see that as you go in there. But users, on the other hand, can belong to many screening groups, and they can have multiple roles within that screening group. And I think we'll discuss that more in the webinar too. Next screen. Okay, when you hit that AQS button and you go through your screens where you're signing in and you choose screening group access or read-only access, you're going to come to this screen. You'll see this screen, and one of the things you'll want to do is go to the upper left-hand corner and click on Action. And if you go all the way, it'll give you a drop-down menu, and if you go all the way down to the bottom, you'll see Tribal Mode On or Tribal Mode Off. You want to click Tribal Mode On, and what that'll do is that'll allow you to go in and just use your tribal modes, tribal codes. I'm sorry. Each tribe has a code that's, I believe, is administered by the BIA, Bureau of Indian Affairs, and I think we use the same tribal code as the tribal code in AQS. Next slide. Okay, when you get into AQS, you're going to have some responsibility. You're going to have to manage your account. Unfortunately, you have to change your password every 60 days. I know it's hard for me, but you're going to receive an email, though. That's the good news, reminding you that you need to change it. And you can change them at any time, and it's a fairly easy process. We'll look at that in another slide. But after 180 days, if your account's inactive, you're going to receive another email that says your user account is locked. So if your account is locked, you're going to want to go to the EPA Enterprise IT Service Desk, or EISD, and just give them a call on that 866 number that was earlier in the presentation, and they will help you unlock the account, and then you can go back in. Next slide. Okay, there are some rules when you're creating your password. These are just a few of the quick notes from the actual document that has our password security policies on it. So if you're going to create a password, I would suggest you review this, go to the link and review the rules, because they'll help you not have password problems. But if you do have a password problem, let's say you need a reset for your password, or you've gone past you have 3 days to change your password. If you've gone past that date, you want to call, again, EISD at EPA. You want to contact them either by email or by phone. Next slide. Okay, when it asks you to change your AQS password, you want to first go into admin and security. They're found at the top of the form. And when you click on admin and security, it should populate all the fields with your data, your information. The second, or the bottom block that's on that form, you'll see where it says change passwords. So you're going to want to go into the new password and insert a new password, and then confirm the password, and then click on change Oracle password, not change EN password. That's a separate item. So you're going to want to change your Oracle password, and then you receive a confirmation that your password is changed. You just click on the OK, and then you're done. Next slide. Okay. The Exchange Network Service Center, that's the other button that's on the AQS web page. ENSC, as it says, is a web-based tool. This is where you send, you can retrieve or download AQS data and information. The files that you get, you'll need access to that to upload data to AQS. Your profile should indicate that you have you'll need screening group access to have an account with ENSC. So make sure when you're filling out your user registration that your AQS contact realizes you have to know, they have to indicate which screening group you're going to be a part of. Next slide. Okay, how to get there? Again, on the main screen, you'll just click on the Environmental Information Exchange Network button. That's the top one. And then you'll click on Request an Account to gain a production username and password. Now, you can do that, but typically what will happen is if you set up your account properly and you have screening group access, you won't need to go through that second step, request an account, because you should already have an account. Because what happens is your new user registration comes to me, and I create an AQS account for you. And then I send an email to you letting you know that it's been created with instructions as to what to do, how to get in, how to access, how to create a password, how to create an initial password. And I also send an email to ENSC asking them to create an account for you in ENSC. And they in turn send you an email. So you'll be receiving 2 emails, one from me and then a follow-up very shortly after that from ENSC, asking what they're going to do is they're going to give you set you up with a password for ENSC. They're separate entities. Okay, how to gain access to ENSC? This is the form that will come up if you request an account be set up for you. So you'll just fill in the information and you'll hit enter, and off it goes to ENSC, and then they in turn send this form to me. And then I request that an account be set up, because you can't have an ENSC account unless you have an AQS account set up. And you need to have screening group access in order to do that. I hope that wasn't confusing. Next slide. Okay, once you click on that ENSC button on the AQS main page, it will come up and it will ask you for your username, which is always going to be your email address. This is different from the AQS username that you'll have. And it will ask you for your password. And then you just click log in. Next slide. And if you ever forget how to get in there, we've created a little video.
To log into ENSC, you'll need to go to the Exchange Network Services Center's login page. Open your internet browser and go to the AQS website. The AQS website is located at epa.gov/AQS. On the AQS website, click the Exchange Network button. You will log in to the Exchange Network Services Center with the Production Exchange Network username and password. After entering your credentials, click the Login button. The first time you log into the Exchange Network Services Center, you will need to add the AQS connection service to your list of services. In order to add this connection, you will select either the Exchange Network Services tab or click the Go button on the interactive window labeled Exchange Network Services. At this point, you will type AQS into the search box. Click the Search button. In the AQS Submit row, click the Send Info link. Complete the Express Request form by filling in all the necessary fields. Then click the Send Data button. The Request Received screen will appear. This screen will display your status and a transaction ID. After your initial submittal, all of your subsequent submittals can be processed through the My Services Center interactive window. You are now able to log into and begin working in the Exchange Network Services Center.